Posting your own picture without authorization from your photographer can actually lead you to court and you may be paying damages. Welcome to Education, our weekly legal podcast, where we break down legal topics, legal issues, legal concepts to your understanding without having to go to the law school. Today we are continuing in our series on intellectual property, and specifically we are talking about copyright in photographs. Copyright in photographs. Who owns the copyright in a photograph? Who has the opportunity to sue for the use of that photograph? By section 108 of the Copyright Act, photographs is part of what is regarded as artistic works. Artistic work, photograph. Now, when it comes to photographs, who is the owner of copyright in it? I take a picture of you. Do I own the copyright or do you own the copyright? Now, by the copyright law in Nigeria, almost everywhere, even globally, is that the authorship or the copyright is vested in the author of the photograph. And by author of the photograph, we mean the person who took the photograph. But when it comes to a photographer and an outsider or an individual, it is the photographer that owns the copyright in that photograph. However, if there is a contract between the two of you as to the transfer of the copyright outrightly, or there has been a license to you to use the copyright, or it has been assigned, or the copyright in it has been assigned to you one way or the other, that is though it is in those situations that the copyright will now pass from the photographer to the individual. Now, what's the implication of the photographer owning the copyright? It means that the photographer, unless he assigns his right or he licenses you as the model in the picture, except he licenses you to use that photograph or to post it or to do whatever you want to do with it, the photographer can actually sue you for the use of even your home photograph. This has happened even in the US. Kim Kardashian was sued for posting her home picture even on Instagram. A lot of cases like that. So how do you avoid this bottleneck? Imagine you have a wedding, you contracted somebody to take photograph, and then the person says you cannot post your home photograph. What happens? Or you decide to post your photograph or use it to do something, and then you see a lawsuit saying that, well, you are not licensed to use the photograph and all of that. So how do you navigate this? The best way to avoid all this kind of bottleneck is when you are employing, you have an event, you have a photo shoot or anything, is to have a contract. Many people look at it and say, just to take photograph, why do I need a contract? Well, until you find yourself in a situation where you have to go and answer in court, that's when you will wish that you had taken that contract. So sign a contract, and in that contract you state it there that the intellectual property is transferred to you, or you have the license, explain the license that is given to you as an individual to use that your photograph. The contract should specifically determine what extent the photographer can use your image or the photograph and all of that. So in the absence of that kind of contract, may I tell you, the photographer has all the right under the law to sue you or to stop you from using that photograph. Now, the question is, can the photographer now use my image, photograph where I am the model? Can they use it anyhow, including posting on their Instagram page or on their social media pages, or maybe on billboards or for commercial purpose? Well, as it stands in the developed world, in the US and all, that will be an issue because there is something they call image right. That is the right of the person captured in that picture, the use of his nickname, the use of his name and whatever is recognized in those places. But in Nigeria, unfortunately, image right is not known to our, or is not established in our copyright law or under our intellectual property laws. However, there is a recent case of Udom versus Globacom where the court, although the court did not specifically say that image right is now known to our laws, but they made a distinction between copyright and image right. By inference, they made a distinction between copyright and image right. Copyright and other intellectual property, is under the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. But when it comes to simple contract, when it comes to contract, State High Court can have jurisdiction over it, and that takes it out of copyright law. That means that what remedy will be available to you is based on breach of contract. But before you can come and say that there is a breach of contract, there must have been a contract in the first place. So that is why somebody is taking your picture, you need to find a way to, even if it is a simple agreement that you have with them that the copyright will vest in you, or even if the copyright vests in them, they cannot use your image, they cannot use that photograph for commercial purposes to post in billboard, or you limit the extent to which they can use that picture. If not, you are going to find your picture on billboard and there may be nothing you can do concerning it. For photographers, what does it mean to you? Many of you may not know this right that you have under the law. Your picture, people use your picture. Some you even go to the extent of removing your watermark and then post their home picture, and they feel, well, it's my picture. Or they use the picture, go ahead and sell it online or for any other purpose and all. As a photographer, this may be in breach of your right as a copyright owner, and you have a right to stop them from doing absolutely that. Whether you are a photographer or you are a model, having watched this video this far, I'm sure you know what you need to do concerning your next photo shoot or your event. This is where we pause today, and we believe you have learned a lot from this episode. If you have done that, please go ahead and share, like, subscribe to this page, and ensure that you also come back next week for another episode. Thank you.